Hello, welcome to the Delta Kappa Pi chapter of Capella University's Marriage and Family Therapy program. This is our member spotlight interview, and today we have Katie Wagner. She is actually a board member, and I will let her introduce herself. Just tell us how far along you are in the program and what you do as a board member.
Well, thanks, Kelly. I am Katie, and I am the secretary of the Pi chapter. I have been for about a year and a half, and I'm also the chair of the newsletter committee. And I am going into week 9 of my last quarter of internship. So I will be done on the 17th. It's just right around the corner. So it's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So what have been your goals for when you started the program, and then now that you have the light at the end of the tunnel and you have like the career part going on? What are your goals?
Yeah, that's such a good question. This was a career shift for me to move into marriage and family therapy. I was doing something completely different before. And I was really excited about just doing something new. I love school. I love things. So that's what it sort of started as. And now that I'm through the program, I'm just so excited to continue working with clients. And I want eventually to become a supervisor, maybe open up a practice, work with other students, and sort of pay it forward. I'm so grateful for my supervisors. So I would love to be that person for another student in the future.
Yes, I think that either we have really great supervisors that motivate us to then pass that on, or maybe we don't have such a good experience and we think, I'm going to make it easier for somebody else that comes after me. So I think that's very, I feel like that would be very good for you to pass that on in what you've learned. So where do you see yourself in about 10 years? Is that too far?
No, 10 years. So my husband's active military. So as a military spouse, you don't really get to plan out that far in advance because you don't know where you're going to be or what you're going to be doing. So in an ideal world, we'll be settled someplace, won't be moving around a bunch anymore. I'll be fully licensed, maybe have a practice of my own, like a group practice. I'm working currently with kids and teens who have experienced sexual abuse. So I really want to stay in that trauma world and work with that. So hopefully get some more certifications. I love the neurosequential model. I'd love to do that training, possibly EMDR, add some other letters to the end of my name there, and continue working with those clients.
Great. Yes. Also active military family. We are. And so that 10-year planning, I'm like, I can barely do maybe 2 years at a time.
Right.
And that's about as far as I can think ahead. So I get that. So what are you doing for self-care? That's a very, important thing. It's kind of pounded into our heads every quarter. Like, what are you doing for self-care? What does that look like for you?
I thought I was really good at self-care when I started the program, and those questions came up in our beginning courses, and I was like, oh no, that's not a problem for me. I'm really good at that. And then I got to internship and things got stressful, and I was like, oh, this is what they're talking about when they say you need a self-care routine. So I have been really intentional about eating healthy and exercising, take the dog for walks twice a day, try to get outside. That's more that preventative stuff. And then the reactive stuff, I also try to do yoga, and I read a ton. And watch the same shows over and over again on Netflix. So,
Are you reading for entertainment, or are you reading for more learning?
I do try to read for entertainment. That's when I'm able to check out and not be thinking about my clients. If I'm reading for education, I'm thinking about clients and people and applying it to my cases, which is also beneficial, but not exactly as relaxing.
Right. Maybe some balance is good. All right. And I think you kind of answered this a little bit, but why MFT?
I was working at a high school in Washington, and I was part of a group of staff members that got together to talk about the at-risk kids,
Mhm.
kids that were struggling with truancy or failing grades or, different stuff like that, behavior issues. And in these meetings about the at-risk kids, we were talking about the kids, and then one day it just dawned on me. I'm like, this isn't about the kids. Like, every single one of these students has so much else going on in their life that's the reason for their behavior issues or their truancy or their failing grades. It's not about the kids, it's about what's going on for them. So that, I think, is the moment that I really decided I wanted to go into helping the families in order to help the kids. I didn't know at the time that that was the systemic lens of MFTs, but that's what it was. And that's really where I wanted to go, is to helping families as a whole to help the individuals.
That's awesome. I think learning a lot of us come from other places and we realize, well, this isn't the problem. We got to start back here.
Yeah.
And which model are you feeling most drawn to?
Narrative, usually. I love the process of externalizing clients' problems as they define them. I think for kids and teens, it works really well because they have such active imaginations, and you can turn anxiety into a mythical creature that they're fighting against, and have that be sort of the stem of all your conversations, which I love. I think that's really fun. And then I think just in general, we all have these stories that we hear from our families or our communities that we assume are the truth because that's what we've heard over and over again in our life. And I think a lot of the stuckness that people feel comes from that. So I really connected with the narrative model.
That's yes, being able to know that this power that comes from knowing that you can change your narrative, you can change. That's pretty powerful, empowering to clients. All right. Any advice you have for maybe people that are not as far along in the program as you are?
Yeah, make all of the connections that you can make. I think that's why I ended up in Delta Kappa. I was sort of searching for like a community of people. And I know that with Capella, there's communities all over the world. You just have to find them. And so, like, make those connections, stay in touch with people from residency and internship, and reach out to them and not use them, but like connect with them as resources and be a resource for them. I think that's a big thing for me. And then also, when writing papers for classes, don't use the same model over and over again. And it's really easy to do that. It makes it a lot less research heavy, but then you're not learning all of the ins and outs of all the different models, and that comes back to bite you when you're studying for the exam. So really dig into models that make you uncomfortable. Dig into the ones that don't make sense to you, because that's how you're going to learn them, and that's how you're going to figure out, oh, okay, that's how that applies.
Yes, perfect. I totally agree on that. And any message you have for members to get involved in Delta Kappa?
Yes, there's so many ways to get involved, and it can be little things like, joining a committee and contributing to a fundraising event, or it can be big things like joining the board. And even that it's not a stressful job to be a board member. It's really fun. I've got to meet some really great people. You get FaceTime with Dr. Schooley and Dr. Bayman, which is always fun. There's so much knowledge from those two that you can grasp onto. And so it's just a fun way to meet people that are in the field dealing with the same things you're dealing with, people you can turn to for support. And I was actually at the Texas MFT conference a couple years ago in Houston, and it was right after I was inducted into Delta Kappa. And we were at one of the like mixer events, and I noticed a bunch of people had Delta Kappa pins like on their shirts or their lapels. And I started to notice them, and I was like, wow, this is like, this is a legitimate community of people. These are people. And so it's an easy way to start a conversation and walk up and say, oh, I'm a member of Delta Kappa too. I participate on this board, or I'm on this committee. And it's an instant conversation starter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not just a Capella thing. We're big.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And so since we're not all just business, here is the lightning round.
Okay.
So whatever comes first to your mind. What's your favorite color?
Purple.
What is your most used emoji?
Ooh, either the thumbs up or the kissing emoji.
Oh. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to update some of these questions for the younger people. Maybe I'm feeling a little old asking that question. If you were an animal, what would it be?
A giraffe.
Oh, I'm now curious to know more about that.
They're my favorite, and there's nothing else like a giraffe. They're super unique. Nothing else looks like them.
That's very true. Paper or plastic?
Paper.
Favorite city you've ever been to?
Manhattan.
Favorite day of the week?
Friday, obviously.
If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept?
Probably not, no.
What's the fastest speed you've ever driven in a vehicle?
Oh gosh, I'm not going to tell you that. Maybe we'll say 90.
Okay. What does the acronym SCUBA stand for?
I didn't know it was an acronym. I have no idea.
Well, then I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to give away for the next person. You'll have to figure that out on yourself. Do you return the shopping cart?
Always. I can't stand it when people don't return the shopping cart.
I'm even guilty of gathering up others along the way.
I do the same.
Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Beatles.
Okay, you're playing Mario Go-Kart. Who is your character?
Peach, probably.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, can I pick both?
Yes.
Both, please.
I have both. And when I got a dog, I realized I was a cat person.
There you go.
Which Golden Girl do you relate to most? Not that you like the most, that you relate to.
I haven't watched enough Golden Girls to know. I'm sorry. I know. I need to.
There's an assignment. There's your homework.
I'll Google scuba and I'll watch some Golden Girls today.
Perfect. All right, Katie, thanks for joining me today. And if people have questions about your position on the board and want to know information, how can they get a hold of you?
Yes, they can email me at newsletter@capella.org, and I'll get back to them right away.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye.